call this meeting to order. Let the minutes show that this is a regular scheduled meeting for Carroll County Fiscal Court, January 14, 2025, 9 a.m. At this time, we stand and do the pledge of allegiance and invocation.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear Heavenly Father, Lord, again, we're just so thankful for this opportunity that we have together, Lord, and discuss our county's businesses. And thankful for the visitors that are here with us today, Lord, and just so thankful that you've been through this with this community and the region, Lord, as we've had some terrible winter storms thus far, Lord, and so we pray that you continue to, as we rebound and dig out, Lord, and just be with those that are out in it, and so thankful for their efforts. Be with all those, Lord, that are on the front lines of the fires in Southern California, Lord, and just be with them and the tragic events that are occurring and unfolding out there, Lord. Be with our men and women here, Lord, law enforcement and emergency workers and so forth that are on here working daily to keep us safe, and all those scattered around the globe keep our freedoms. And these things we ask in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Need a motion to approve the minute for 12/27/24.
Motion.
Motion by Scott, second by Clay. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Budget transfers, I need a motion, please.
Motion.
Motion by Scott, second by Clay. All in favor, say aye. Invoice approval. Motion by Clay,
I'll second.
second by Benzie. All
I
in
just
favor,
wanna
say
add that I talked to you all about going ahead and cut that other check
Sure.
to West Side, so whenever,
You already talked to him about that?
yes, I talked
Okay.
earlier, it's
Okay.
at 7,500.
Okay, thank you.
We need to put that in a form of a motion to do that.
Well, I was gonna put it with additional bills, so it's approved all.
No, that's fine.
We'll do that. Okay, informational for your financial reports in there, in the packet. Today we have.
But we don't have
No,
it
I'm
yet.
not through with it.
Yeah, she
You don't have that
she
yet.
don't
She will
it,
have
so
it.
she'll get it to us, yeah.
Today we have Superintendent of Carroll County School, Casey, has a presentation for us, so maybe that's full.
Thank you, Judge Executive. Just a few minutes, thank you for a few minutes of your time to talk a little bit about our district facilities plan that we've worked on since last February. And some of the things that we may be looking at doing for the community and the school community and the county as we move forward with what we're thinking about doing. So this is a presentation I gave at City Council last night. It'll be the same presentation that I will give to community members at four different places, 4 different dates. Here at home basketball games, Jennifer Wilhoy is setting that up for us. And so we're going to try to get the community behind our district facilities plan and some of the things that we need desperately for our community to be successful. This is one of our new logos that we did through our strategic plan over the last year. And we were trying to, we embrace where the reviews unite, features unite, and we want to empower integrity and engaging community. So that's kind of been our mantra here for the last 6 to 8 months. We hope that continues. Trying to build on the theme of the rivers from the chamber and the Carroll County government and city council, and trying to be a good partner with everybody. So first of all, we always want to start with the why. Everybody knows, and your legislators will tell you that only about 40% of our kids read on grade level statewide. And that's pretty accurate here in Carroll County also. So these are numbers on different assessments that we take. So at Cartmel, 4th graders who read Cartmel, 66% of those students score below grade level in reading, and 76% of them score below grade level in math on the KSA, which is the Kentucky Summative Assessment. That's the state assessment that KDE puts out at the end of the year in May. MAP is measures of associated progress. That's a nationally norm reference test that compares us to the rest of the country and the world, because this test is given throughout the world. When, at the end of the first grade, 59% of the kids are not reading on grade level, and at Carroll, in fourth grade, 52% of the kids. And you can see 76 and 78 score below that. That was last year's data. So we are making strides. We have gained over time. In the last 2 years, we have gained 10 points. So 2 years ago, these scores were not as good as they are now. So the teachers and the principals have really bought into the systems we put in place for curriculum and the reading curriculum and the math curriculum, and we're seeing gains. Part of the why is our kids don't come to us ready for kindergarten. So when state legislators will tell you that only 40% of the kids are reading on grade level, I will report that the state average says 54% of the kids are not ready for kindergarten when they get to our doors. So our impetus is to be able to offer universal preschool for all of our kids in Carroll County. Our CCDC, the Carroll County Child Development Center, gets 62% of our kids ready for kindergarten. Now, you have to remember that only serves 50% of the population in the county, because of Rude. And second of all, it serves the highest poverty, highest need students for special needs. So kids, we have kids come here with autism. We have kids who are coming here who are nonverbal at 3 years old. We have kids coming, they're the most severe needs kids in the county. So we're taking basically the lowest scoring 50%, and we're getting 60-some% of them ready for kindergarten. Our preschool ranks 15th in the state for success rate. When you take all the counties that have a Head Start preschool and you rank them, ours is in the top 15 on getting kids ready for kindergarten readiness. So we are very proud of that. That program has changed the lives of many kids in our community. Leah Spritzer has data that shows that they're ready when they leave preschool. 90% of those kids stay on grade level by the third grade. So there's some things that happen with the 10% in family life and things that we are out of our control. But we score better than the state average. So our impetus for this whole process has been, how can we offer universal preschool for every kid in Carroll County? So the first thing is we have to have room. So we're looking at doing a restructure of the buildings and grade levels. I presented this option to the district facilities plan back last February. There's a committee that meets on that. There were several parents, several community members that were on this committee. Mark Wilhoit gathered that committee together, and that's kind of his wheelhouse to do that. We do this once every 4 years. We anticipate what our needs are going to be for the next 4 years. So in order to offer universal preschool, we would have to realign our buildings. So we would have to move first grade out of Catherine Wynn to free up 6 to 8 classrooms. The thought would be to move Cartmel to the current middle school right up the street and put grades 1 through 5 in that middle school. That building is physically big enough, it has enough classrooms to hold 5 grades. The only thing we have to do to that building is add on to the cafeteria, because the cafeteria can only seat one grade level, about 150 kids at a time right now. So the thought process with the architect is we would just build the cafeteria out towards the street, expand the kitchen, and then that building would be able to serve grades 1 through 5. We would move 6 through 8 to the current Carroll and put the middle school on the high school campus. So the restructuring piece is something we talked about probably 18 months ago, probably during my first year of tenure, when we were trying to figure out how can we address this reading and math problem. The way to address the reading and math problem is to get them earlier so we can get them kindergarten ready. People like to think that the school system is designed to have multiple years of growth within one calendar year, and it's not. It's never been designed to do that. We have 170 days to get 1 year's worth of growth out of a student. That's been studied for years. And that's about all you can get. So when we offer summer school, when we offer after school tutoring, that's when we try to make up those things. The easiest way to address the issue is to address it early and get them ready for kindergarten while being able to offer universal preschool. Any
So when you
questions?
say offer, so it wouldn't be mandatory,
It's not
this is an
mandatory.
option, free of charge, all of that, transportation included, I mean, all of that.
So we don't, that's another issue. Once we build it and they will come, then we have to figure out A, how to get the right teachers, and B, how to pay for it and stuff like that. The state does not send us currently enough money to cover preschool for everybody. So we may have to charge tuition. We're thinking, I said last night at council, if we charge a family $100 a week per student, that would cover the cost of a classroom teacher and 2 aides in that classroom, which is what you want in preschool. So I don't know where you can find daycare for $100 a week that's gonna feed you twice a day and provide you with 6 to 7 hours of instruction a day. I think that's a pretty good deal for most families. We have lost teachers in our county because we don't have room in the preschool. They don't qualify for preschool on the scale, or their child's not disabled, so they don't qualify for that piece. And we have lost teachers because, well, you don't have daycare. I can't find daycare in Carroll County, so I can't move and come take a teaching job.
So this is standard school day, 5 days a week.
Standard school day, preschool operates 4 days a week.
Okay, so Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday, yes. So the whole impetus behind all this is to address that reading and math problem. So that's a really good question. So there will probably be some tuition rate. If the legislature would offer universal preschool and reimburse us for that, that would be fantastic, but, Senator Stivers has said he's not planning on ever doing that. And I don't understand why when everybody knows that 60% of the kids across Kentucky are not ready for kindergarten. And that, when 60% of them are not reading on grade level, it starts early. Unfortunately, mamas and daddies don't read to their children anymore, like we did, or like we were read to. We had that conversation with one of my board members last night. A lot of these parents are working 2 jobs. They're trying to run their kids everywhere. They're dropping them off between moms and grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles. And so at least we could give them for 170 days, 6 hours of instruction, 2 meals a day, and, get them ready for kindergarten. Any other questions so far?
I don't know if anybody's mentioned too, but and it's getting close to being rolled out, but we did this development, I think you were in some of them, the comprehensive economic development strategy says. So that was a key component that is in there, is a recognition that we do have gaps in terms of childcare and, all those type of things, so certainly in alignment with that.
There's another alignment, with housing too, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of things that go, I call it the big ring. There's a lot of things in the big ring that have to work together. And we are one of the key components, because it's hard to attract people here to work and, do what we want to do to grow our community. If our school system, if our 60% of our schools kids are reading, we're not producing the product that most of these parents want. So we are on the way to fixing that. So that's kind of the structure, 5th grade, putting 5th grade back in Cartmel, staying in the middle school. That's something that the parents have not really liked when that move was made to make the middle school a 5-9 center. And just from interacting with 5th graders, they're not quite middle schoolers. Now, they are on their own wing. They do have their own separate lunch. They have their own specials, and they have recess. So that's something that, middle school is not used to doing, is how do I build recess into this schedule that's typically a middle school schedule. Any questions so far?
No.
So some of the benefits of realignment, other than getting into universal preschool, the move of the middle school to the high school campus allows us to expand opportunities in band, drama, and theater. So currently we have vocal music 2 through 4 at Cartmel. We have band And, at 6 through 12, we have theater as a club outside of school. We could develop enough resources to offer grades 1 through 12 vocal music, theater and band, which is something that parents are asking for. I mean, they don't understand why vocal music grades 2 through 4, but there's no vocal music at the middle school. Well, we have the space for it, we don't have a teacher, we don't have a design program, so we would have to allocate those resources for it. But I think it would be wonderful as a community to be able to advertise, look, we have these programs, grades 1 through 12, for your child if they choose to participate. Obviously, now we could have the middle school athletes on our campus, and they could use the facilities at the middle school level. They would have access to the convention center. We're not having to bus them to the city park. We're not having to bus them over back and forth to gyms and all those things. And we also can expand CTE pathways and program exploration for those middle schoolers. It's really easy to get, 8th graders to take a week and go and watch welding class to see if they're interested in it. Once we help them figure that out. It's really easy to get them, if we have some advanced kids, one of the things we don't offer is we struggle to offer advanced courses for our middle schoolers. Now, if we could have a middle schooler walk over to the high school and take an algebra 1 class if they needed to. So those are all benefits to that program. So how do we get there? So first of all, we have to get the DOP approved. I hope that happens here in January. I've been fighting with KDE over this cafeteria expansion for 8 months. And I talked to the architect last night, and hopefully that will be resolved today. If you all work in government and, sometimes dealing with the entities of the state is difficult. We would also propose to the board to do an additional 10% property tax increase, which would be solely dedicated towards renovation costs and building costs.
So 10% or 10 cents?
10 cents.
Okay, I'll make sure.
There's a difference.
Yes, yeah, because you
Well,
said the percent.
So we'll talk about that in just a second.
Okay.
So this is kind of a proposed timeline of events. The things in green are the things that we have to do to offer universal preschool. That's, get the DFP approved, get the waiver approved, approve the tax increase, design, plan, and construct a cafeteria addition on the middle school, swap the middle school, and start off universal preschool. We would like to have that done in 18 months. It seems pretty aggressive, but the architect says we can get the cafeteria built in 18 months. The fiscal swap is not that hard. We have maintenance teams and people who would help us do the physical swap of the buildings. So we should be able to offer universal preschool to the community if everything works out by the fall of 2026. All the rest of those things on the bottom are things that we need and things that are nice to have, but they're not necessary. So we've tried to plan those out. The thing is wish big, want big, hopefully we get big. And some of those things are some of the things that families have said that we need to look at. We need to look at a new central office. My team works out of a house right now. Everybody knows where our central office is. We're one of the few counties around here that still works in a situation like that. Our technology department, our transportation department are in mobile trailers way back in the back lot, and those trailers are 20 years old, and the floors are kind of, they're mobile units. They were never designed to be permanent structures. We need a new bus garage. The current bus garage, I think, was built in 1985. We have one bay, and it's hard for us to keep the fleet moving just on inspections with one bay, because it takes 2 to 3 hours to do a monthly inspection on a bus. So if you have 20 buses, now you're looking at 10 days of just inspections. That doesn't count flat tires, that doesn't count rear seats, that doesn't count all the other, the oil changes and all the other things that the buses have to have done. Our parking lots are desperately need a repair. We're looking at constructing a new field house for football, track, and soccer. Those kids have nowhere to change. The football locker rooms in the gym still like it was in 1970. And now, boys are, there's 40, 50 boys in there who have to walk from the gym to the football room. Soccer has nowhere to change. So most of the time, the soccer players are changing in the restroom inside, that is their football stadium. So trying to, you know, provide facilities for those student athletes. So this is Jennifer Wilhoit's nice little graphic, and we looked at $100,000, $200,000 homes. The median home price in Carroll County is about $122,000. Now, I got that off of Zillow or Realtor.com or something, so I didn't call the PDA and say, what's the average value of a home? So right now, a nickel increase would take us up to 72 cents per $100 of evaluation. That's a $724 annual property bill. $60 a month, $1.98 a day, that's a 16-cent increase per $100,000 from what it currently is, 16% per day increase. If you do a dime, it obviously just doubles. So it's just a multiple of 2 for that. If you do a $200,000 house, they all double, because everything's based on $100 evaluation property. So this is a lot, but this is, to me, is the easiest way to explain it. Your current tax rate is 66.5 on the 100. 5 cents of that right now goes into our property value. So when you think of school funds, you have to think of it like your house. I have a general fund, John has a general fund, that pays for salaries, pays for the electricity, pays for, fuel for buses. There's a separate line, but you get what I'm saying. Then I have my buildings and grounds fund. So the building and grounds fund is like your home loan. So that 5 cents goes into the building and grounds fund every year. It has since 1990, when Carroll was enacted. Carroll County is one of, I think it's 15 districts that only has 1 nickel. They're all called nickels, a 5 cents tax increase. Other counties around us have 2, 3 nickels. Oldham County has 3 nickels. Boone County has 3 nickels. Owen County has 2. I think Henry has 2. I think Gallatin has 3. So when you think about tax rates, that nickel that's generated goes into a separate pot of money, and that's all it can be spent on. All it can be spent on is buildings and grounds. So for the average homeowner, $100,000 homeowner, you pay $665 a year in taxes. That's $1.82 a day. If you did everything that we need to do, the extra 2 nickels, which we're calling a dime, and we take a 4% increase every year in order to give our staff raises, in order to pay for curriculum, in order to do travel and all those things, you'll go from 66 cents to 82 cents. Now that sounds like a lot. When you break it down in a day, you go from $1.82 a day to $2.25 a day. So for about 50 cents a day for a $100,000 house, or about 80 cents a day for a $200,000 house is what their taxes would go up. Well, that's less than the price of coffee at McDonald's per day. And I know people spend, I don't know what people spend $1 a day on anyway. I mean, I can't buy anything for $1. What this does is it increases our bonding potential. So right now, we have $6 million of bonding potential with the current nickel. We just put $1.5 million roof on the high school because somebody came in and did the annual inspection on it and said, hey, that flat roof is saturated and it's not safe. And we didn't expect that. Now that roof's been up there, now everybody said that roof's been up there 20 years, so it's probably new. But all of a sudden, now you're out $1.5 million from the roof. We took that and bonded that project. So that's why we try to save $6 million in case, like I was talking to Mark this morning, heat and air, capture and wind is kind of messed up this morning. It's messed up in the summer. It's not really right. It's 20 years old. You might have to spend $1 million to replace those heating and air systems in that building. That would come out of that $6 million. Now, projects that we've done in the past, like the restroom project, the baseball, softball, the new signs we have, those are all come out of general fund. The board in previous administrations wanted to save that bonding capacity. So they saved the money, John would save the money in the general fund so we could pay for that $1 million bathroom and those signs that were about $250,000. And the signs have been a great reception, so. So what we lose out on every year, the second nickel locally would generate about $500,000. The legislature, in its infinite wisdom, does do something well here. They say, oh, you generated another nickel, we're gonna help you out. We'll give you a match. They call it a match, it's not a dollar for dollar match, but it's about 90%. So you miss out on $458,000. So for every nickel that we haven't had over 30 years, we have missed out on this matching fund from the state. So when you look at one nickel, now your bonding capacity over 20 years goes from 6 million to 21 million. And if you look at the third nickel, your bonding capacity goes from 21 million to 37 million. Now remember, that's bonding capacity. So that's on a loan. So when you bond, right, when you take out a home equity loan, you sign the papers to say you're going to pay it back. So when we have a bond, the financial advisors say, look, you're generating $498,000 every year from the local fund, and you're going to generate $458,000 from the legislature. So that's now over a 20-year period, you can borrow $21 million instead of just $6 million. It's like a home equity loan. That's how I try to explain it to parents. Now you notice in 26, 27, those numbers go up a little bit. That's anticipated because we typically see a 4 to 5% growth in property valuation. So those numbers will go up a little bit over time for that same tax rate. We're not having the same growth that Covington is having. Covington's having like 25% growth. Oldham County's having like 10 to 12% growth in their property values. Our property values here are not growing. One of the ways to help that is if we can offer some of these great things in our school system to attract families to Carroll County, to live here, to work and live here, instead of just working here and then going home. Any questions so far on that piece? You guys are all government agencies dealing with a lot of money. So here's a picture of the map that we would look at, and what I really want to show you is what I was really excited about, is the opportunity to build a new auditorium. So we would convert the middle school over, connect the middle school and the high school together. We could offer more CTE spaces, or if the need arises, I-League could be incorporated into that space. That serves about 150 kids throughout the county. I know we have a young man in here who's that. We could combine all of our band programs, our theater programs. We could offer that auditorium for community use. If you want, if the community, the Chamber of Commerce or Fiscal Court or whoever wants to offer a summer concert series or a winter concert series, Shakespeare in Carroll County or something, it would be, we can't do that where we're at right now with the auditorium and those. Those are things that would attract new families to Carroll County. But the impetus still is fixing, reading the map. The other things are niceties. This is a nicety. It's not written, none of this is written in stone. I'm just giving information to all the local entities. I'm going to have 4 parent community forums at the end of January and the start of February, and we'll continue to see what the community wants to do. If the community does not want to raise taxes to get all these things, I will never bring this motion before the board. And I've had that conversation with the board, and they're fine with that. Their ask is for us to provide information to everybody that we can, take the pulse and the temperature of the community to see what they want, and then move forward from there. Any questions for me?
I guess one, and it's kind of related to this, but not so much. What is our general population in the schools doing? I know like Trimble County recently, I mean, they're on a decline. So that causes some challenges and stuff, so where are we at with just overall?
So we're up from 1,700, when I started, we're up to 1,800.
Okay.
I just talked to Catherine Wynn, we had 3 kids enroll at Catherine Wynn after break, and I don't know how they find us here, but they find us. Usually it's a lot of family, community, they know somebody, they got a cousin or an aunt and uncle that lives here. One of the kids moved from Kansas, because they have a relation here. But we're not behind. Our enrollment's progressing. The thought of being a destination district, all 5 of us share kids. We have about 160 kids who are homeschooled right now. And there's nothing wrong with homeschool, but you'll never hear me say I'm not an advocate for homeschool. Parents have the right to homeschool their child, no problem with that. The problem I have with homeschool is it's not regulated. And it shouldn't be regulated, but I shouldn't be able to, kids who get in trouble for truancy shouldn't be able just to sign a piece of paper and go home. Because that's how it works. They can just come in and fill out a form, and honest to goodness, I had parents come in and fill out a form and ask me what it says. Because they can't read it, but they're going to homeschool their child, because they don't want to go to the court system and deal with the judge. So, and he knows that's through in our hands at time, because there's not much we can do about that. So we want to be a destination district. We share kids with all of our surrounding counties because of the open enrollment policy that the legislature passed. That the kid, from Owen County wants to come over here and they can get here, they can come to school here. And we take them for a year, and if their grades, behavior, and discipline are all great, then we keep them. So we want to be that attraction for families to come here and live here. Everybody says, school system's not a business, but it's a little bit of business because we're in competition with our neighbors. If we have better test scores, and we have better facilities, and we have better, we pay our teachers better, and we do all those things, then people will choose to live here instead of somewhere else. Good question.
Well, I know the school system's changed a whole lot for the years, how, like you said, it's become more of a business than it has, competing counties. So.
And the school system's changed in a lot of things that we have to provide our kids.
Right.
We provide them 2 meals a day, we're providing mental health counseling, we're providing extra academic supports. Just some of the things that our kids go through, I would just pick the fire here that happened in the fall. Some of the things that our kids have to go through, our parents go through. It's a lot, and we're trying to do things. I've advocated for a regional mental health facility. I know Judge Wilhoit and I've talked about that several times, and it's just like you can't get anybody here to support that. So that future text base, that may be a mental health support. I mean, we don't know what it could be. We want it to be things like heavy equipment operator and drones and things that could attract, computer programming, things could attract people here and want to stay here and work here. But that space is there. If we see that's what the need is, then we're going to address the needs of the children and families.
Anybody got any other questions?
No.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Moving on, the next on the agenda is Carroll County Sheriff's Office 2025 budget. Need a motion to approve that. They didn't put it in.
Yeah, I've seen it, so I don't know.
I didn't put it in the packet.
Dave, if you have it, I'll go on copies for me.
Yeah. You just make one copy and put them on the line. we'll wait.
Yeah, he did.
Uh,
So, yeah, he did.
we did.
Uh,
While we're waiting for this, we'll go down to discussion on county roads. We've had some people talking about county roads and being put into the county. I had talked to our road department supervisor and stuff about some of these, and we're going to look at this, but if we've got a certain subdivision or road in the county that wants to be put in the county road system, we have specs that they need to go by. And once they meet those specs, they're reviewed by the superintendent or the county road department as they state, and then they can be put in. There is also Magistrate Nab has brought to me is a way to do it and add it to their tax bills and stuff like that. If we did that, would do that, people on certain roads or whatever, if we did that, then I would like a letter from those people in that area supporting that deal, that we would take that road in and they would pay their percentage, and then the percentage would be put on their tax bill to be paid every year to make up the difference. I would, if we hadn't to do that, the people that's on these roads that's in question, that want to be put in the road system in Florida County to take them over, I would like to have that kind of letter from that area, because there's some people don't realize that it's going to be put back on their tax bill and they have to pay it every year. So I would like that to support that.
Well, Judge, I appreciate you considering that. I guess if we do make that as an option, because as you stated, it is the prerogative of the folks to do it to the specs, do it on their own dime and everything, and not have to do this, and then that is one path forward. But if we did this alternative, I guess, the previous court, and Nick was involved in this, was working on an ordinance on that to essentially lay out that plan. So is that something?
That's something we can look at if we get enough support from the residents in that area that want to do that.
But how will that work on the flip side? So you got 5 homes that's there, and somebody goes and builds a house on that road, will that get added to there?
If it's a lot to separate property, that property owner would have to pay their contribution as well, because presumably the assumption is they would, I would think that it would be the approach.
Now, my question is, adding this to the tax bill is fine, but is that gonna be a permanent? Or is this gonna decline over a period
It
of time?
declines over time, so if your balance is $5,000, you're gonna pay it over 5 years,
So after that 5 years.
then it's clear.
Yeah. But I'm like Benji mentioned, somebody else coming in there for new residents, what are they gonna do? Do they have to pay that money up front to match what everybody else paid, or what? How do we go about doing that? So,
And that's what the ordinance, you have to
and
specify.
specified in the ordinance like that. So, just anyway, I wanted to bring that up so y'all can be thinking about that a little bit and can get out there in the public, so. Moving on. Haley's got that. Thank you. Sorry, I thought I could put it on everybody's box. Okay, y'all want to review that real quick or whatever, and
There will be.
Okay, and basically need a motion for 2025 budget.
Second.
Second by Scott. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the fourth quarter report there. So, need a motion on it.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Clay, second by Scott, all in favor, say aye. Okay. Dispatch, year-end reports in your packet. I do know I put that in there, so. Anyway, just to let you know, that's the year-end packet, report from dispatch, and also that, our radio supervisor there, Greg Beck, has moved on to a different job. So we're in position, looking for the fifth position to, for dispatch sometime here shortly, hopefully, to move forward with that.
I stated at the council meeting last night that even though the person's gone, Mike Willowwood has taken over the dispatch for the interim, but to look for another person that may be a little bit down the road because they want to make sure that they get a person that has some experience in doing that type of job and not just going out there and hiring really somebody just off the street to say they can be a 911 operator. So, and I think that's a very good stance to be in. I think we really need to look for a qualified person to do that job that has either done it before and knows what it is and knows how to move forward into a different age than what we've got, because a lot of things we have over there are very antiquated and it needs to be updated to come to the standards that we deserve in the county and to have what we need out there as far as communication goes. Last night was a very good incident. We had, the county fell apart about 5 o'clock last night. I don't know if you all do that or not, but we had to call Mount Hill, a call in Worthville, a call out on 55. And, we had 4 ambulances out. One was, well, 2 were stuck. We had to get them out. So I was out there getting ambulances unstuck and trying to help them make calls. And the calls coming in and out are very distorted. We're not getting plain communications, so it created a lot of confusion as to who was where and what was doing what. So we asked how many ambulances were in the Worthville area. They told us 2, and there was actually 3, because one was stuck and they couldn't get it out. So had we decided to turn around and come back and take the word that there was 2, then we would have still had an ambulance out there with the light around it. So we need to make sure that whoever we get, make sure we get communications clear, and that everybody out there that's on the dispatch understands what's going on and where's going on at. So, again, it was very confusing last night, and I know what was going on. So I say hats off to Mike for looking for the right person, and I think that, we need to be involved in
We
that
are
as
going to be
well.
involved in it. Mike and I have already talked about that. We talked about some of the issues that Clay just brought up about, but at our last 911 advisory board meeting, we did, make a motion to have a volunteer person that's been involved in dispatch and stuff to help do some advising and stuff like that, so that'll help us move forward. So,
That's all I have on the agenda. Thank you.
okay. Judges' comments. I don't know if everybody knows this, but the Snappy Tomato, pizza have, giving and taking, pizzas to the road department, as they've been out for several hours and work, and they have, furnished them with meals up there at the road department. They have brought them, at their expense, have donated them, do them. So we, basically, I have, on behalf of the fiscal court and the county judge, sent them a thank you letter, thanking them for their support. I noticed I ran that thing and put in your office from, an email that I received from, about the ER and the thanking for the EMS being over there and helping them in their time of need with some, respiration stuff and respiratory things for the EMS. It was duly noted that they did make a big appearance and helpful over there at the ER that night. And also, you all, just to let you know on a little sad note that PJ Harmon, our solid waste coordinator, his mother passed away, so I'm not for sure of the arrangement yet, but it looks like sometime next week sometime. So just to let you all know that up front. It's basically, all I have for my comments, and I'm gonna go with the county attorney, Nick.
Judge, I don't have anything else.
Okay, Astrid, we'll start with Scott.
All right, thank you, Judge. Yeah, just one comment, and it's, sure you guys will echo it as well, but just real big shout out to all those, that were working, I think, January 5th, everything kind of came to a grinding halt there with snow and pretty significant event, and followed up a few days later with the road department, and got lots of comments. People reached out in a variety of ways, just, really shout the praise and really appreciate the effort there. And I know, again, first responders, because things happen every day here, but things happen even more and make it more challenging with weather conditions. So EMS crews that were out, and I know some of our law enforcement, you still have to patrol, and we had a semi stop at a precarious location, which is no fun. And just so I appreciate everybody's efforts on that, because I know it's hard work, so I appreciate it. So that's all I've got.
Okay, Clay.
And I reflect the same way as Scott, great shout out to all the county workers, everybody did an outstanding job to this, incident. Looks like we may have some more bad weather coming this way, we may have to do this twice.
No.
So, we hope not, but you never know. Pray for the worst and hope for the best, yes. The thing I have is, some of you, probably, most of you don't remember, but Curtis Crutcher, that used to reside here, is Tony Crutcher's brother, or uncle.
And he's passed.
He passed away. He had been in a nursing home, I think in Lexington, or Berea, or one of them areas. His funeral today is at 1 o'clock up at Robert Riley. So if anybody has a chance to stop in, they might want to do that. So send my prayers out to their family. So, and that's all I got. Thank you.
Benji.
Yeah, hats off to all departments, for the snow, same as what everyone else has said here. And, I wanna thank Casey, appreciate you for coming, giving that presentation. And, that's all I got, Judge.
Okay. Just to touch base a little bit, with our EMS, emergency people and all of our road department and everything, they put in a lot of hours, sheriff department has too, so, anytime you see them out, it's, they might be running on, not a whole lot of sleep and stuff, but it has been pretty trying in the last couple weeks or so, so just remember that they have done as best they can and whatever. Road departments had some equipment breakdown, we're getting that repaired and everything. And not to mention, Tony's brother is that, Curtis was kind of a honorary firefighter and police officer and sheriff department and everything that was around here and took part in a lot of things that we had going on that were always there around us and everything. I need a motion to go into an executive session, speak about some business transaction, maybe.
Motion to go into executive session to discuss business transactions.
Second.
Okay, motion by Scott, second by Clay, all in favor say aye.
Yeah.
Okay. Had a motion come out of executive session by Clay, second by
Second.
Benji, all in favor say aye. No action taken during this executive session. I need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Scott, second by Benji, all in favor say